How's everybody doing? It's me, Dustin Coyle. You're listening to Intelligent Thoughts, one of the top podcasts, sports-related, on iTunes. You can look that up. This is going to be the NBA Today for Friday, March 22nd, 2019. Before we get into the show, I would like to say go out and like or follow the Facebook page, Intelligent Thoughts. Also, there's a page on Twitter, Intelligent Tho1. You can probably just Google Intelligent Thoughts Twitter and find that also. And then Instagram as well. You probably do the same with that as far as Google. But it's going to be Intelligent B Thoughts on Instagram. Go ahead and reach out, comments, questions, or any fan interaction at all, really. I mean, I usually do probably more posts there than I do really anything on the podcast. So it's kind of just a little... like a little sports information section or sports news section there is what I'm trying to do. Go ahead and like all those. I hope you enjoy it. So I think that's probably about it before we get into the show here. Let's go ahead and start this. Let's listen to some music. So, let's preview or talk about some of yesterday's games, Thursday, in the NBA. Not the most action of all time, but there were a few good games. Most games were relatively close, at least for the majority of them. Start here in Charlotte, where the Hornets get a much-needed win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, 113-106. Kemba Walker has a pretty damn big day in this one. Where does he finish? 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, just 1 for 8 from downtown. But leading the way with the scoring there for him. It's obviously kind of what he does normally. How about off the bench, Malik Monk with 14 points, 4 3-pointers in 7 attempts there. And that was in just 19 minutes. That's a pretty solid little effort there. Jeremy Lamb with 13 points on 20 shots off the bench in 28 minutes. He didn't help the cause a ton for the Hornets. And as far as on the other side, once again, Karl Anthony Towns, the leading scorer for the Timberwolves, 16 rebounds, 6 assists to go along with his 21 points, and 2 for 4 from behind the arc. Andrew Wiggins chips in with 20 points on 8 for 15 shooting. Not a great performance there for Wiggins, but better than he had been playing recently. All right, to Washington, D.C., where the Denver Nuggets go on the road and beat the Washington Wizards 113-108. Nikola Jokic has 15 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, makes a couple of three-pointers. And he's actually one of, 5 players on the Denver Nuggets with 15 points. Millsap gives you 15 on just 8 shots. Jokic, obviously, with 15. Jamal Murray with 15. Gary Harris with 15. And Tyler Craig off the bench with 15. Or Torrey Craig, excuse me on that. But yeah, super even. Willie Barton actually gives you 13, so he was just a shot away from there as well. Really evenly distributed game there for the Denver Nuggets. That's kind of their strength, I guess, is while Jokic is an MVP candidate for sure, they have a lot of different players who can do it. Gary Harris, Willie Barton, Paul Millsap had 35 the other day. So the Denver Nuggets are a tough team to stop because you can't really focus on any one player too much. Obviously Jokic for the most, but even taking Jokic away on a night like tonight, he'll find a way to get 11 assists and end up winning by 5 on the road. As far as Washington, their leading scorer is Bradley Beal. As usual here, 25 points, 8 assists, just 2 for 7 from downtown, though. And Thomas Bryant, 22 points and 8 rebounds on 9 for 11 for Washington. How about Bobby Portis, too, in the starting lineup? Chips in with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 3 3-pointers for him. Playing pretty good there. The combination of him and Jabari Parker since their trade from Chicago. All right, to Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks beat the Utah Jazz. This is a big one. 117 to 114. Utah just had that big win over the Knicks 2 days ago. Second night of a road back-to-back. They lose by 3 in Atlanta. And the Hawks are led in scoring by Trae Young. 23 points, 11 assists, just 1 for 6 from downtown. Not a great shooting day for Trae Young. 8 for 22 overall. So not his finest game there, but it was definitely enough to get the win, and you kind of had to lean on the young guy there. Dwayne Dedmon also, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3 for 3 from downtown. That's awesome for your center there. And let's see, Kyle Huerta, the rookie here, 14 points, 2 3-pointers. Nothing too spectacular, but he ate up some minutes there. I think he played the third most minutes on the team there with 30. And for the Utah Jazz, a tough shooting night for Donovan Mitchell, 15 for 32, 2 for 6 from downtown. He does finish with 34 points though, just 2 assists. You'd like to see him finish more around 27 points with 6 or 7 assists, but you kind of get what you get here, and just not able to lead his team to the win. Ricky Rubio, 17 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, makes a couple of threes in 27 minutes. Big game for him. All 5 starters are actually in double figures for Utah. Gobert with 12 and 11 on just 6 shots, which is ridiculous. Favors 15 points, 15 boards for him. And Joe Ingles, 13 points, 7 assists. All of them in the loss, though. Okay, in Phoenix, the Detroit Pistons go on the road and get a big W over the worst team in the Western Conference, 118 to 98. The Detroit Pistons as a team shoot the lights out. 17 3-pointers made for Detroit in this one. Terrible shooting night for Blake Griffin. 4 baskets made out of 17 shots and 2 for 11 from downtown. He does finish with an overall okay game, though. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. You like to see when he gets involved in the passing game quite a bit. How about Andre Drummond? 16 points, 19 rebounds, but him as well, 7 for 18 shooting. Takes 18 shots to get 16 points. That's even worse than Blake's day. At least Blake made a couple threes. But the leading scorer for the Detroit Pistons is actually Wayne Ellington with 23 points. He goes 6 for 10 from downtown and 7 for 11 overall. So just 11 shots there, get you 23 points. Good game for him. Reggie Jackson knocks down 3 triples as well. And how about Luke Kennard off the bench? 16 points in 25 minutes. He knocks down a couple threes as well. For the Suns, they're led in scoring by Devin Booker. 26 points, 5 rebounds, just 2 assists for him, though. 8 for 17 shooting. 2 for 5 from downtown. Not his best game there. DeAndre Ayton, another pretty big game here. He's played really well, I would say, for the past 2 weeks or something like that. I've been relatively harsh on DeAndre Ayton. The majority of the season, I think that he's been an underwhelming player, especially for a number 1 overall pick. I don't think that he, there's no possible way he'd be the number 1 overall pick again still, but he's definitely doing a little bit more to, to at least look like the person who should have been considered for the number 1 overall pick and was picked there. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 9 for 12 shooting, super efficient there. What his defensive stats were here? Just 1 block and a minus 19 plus minus. But you'd like to see him get a little bit more blocks, be a better rim protector. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't been. But good game there, 20 points on 75% shooting. Not bad. Also, Malcolm Bridges, 13 points, 7 assists for him. Decent game there, chipping in, but mainly in garbage minutes. All right, to Sacramento. A matchup of 2 teams that everybody loves watching, really, for the most part. Sacramento Kings beat the Dallas Mavericks 116 to 100. Let's see here. The Kings are led in scoring by Buddy Hield, who's pretty much their best player. 29 points, 7 for 13 from downtown. You got to love when Buddy's jacking up a bunch of threes. He has a tendency, not a lot unlike Wayne Ellington from the Detroit game, to get you 6, 7 threes in a game almost easily. And then Marvin Bagley, 22 points, 12 rebounds in 28 minutes, 3 for 5 from downtown, off the bench. Like I said, he'll be in the starting lineup next year. And realistically, I mean, he played more minutes than Bjelica did. So he played what would be close to a starting lineup minutes here, although not as many as Harrison Barnes did. And then how about a little bit of love for Willie Cauley-Stein? I'll give it there. 10 points, 18 boards, and 3 assists on 5 for 8 shooting. Let's check out some defensive stats for Cauley-Stein there. 2 steals, no blocks, but a plus 14 plus minus rating there. And how about De'Aaron Fox with a plus 25? Buddy Hield with a plus 24 on the plus minuses there. And in the loss, Luka Doncic with a terrible day. 4 for 19 shooting, 2 for 10 from downtown, only 13 points on 19 shots. He does give you 10 rebounds, but just 3 assists. Definitely not going to be enough. I mean, he's obviously the catalyst of the team. Like I said, I think a couple days ago, he needs to take a few less shots and really get his other players more involved. Obviously, he doesn't have a ton of talent around him right now, but he does have people he can get the ball to who can at least take some shots or get to the hole, like Powell or something like that, Justin Jackson. But yep, he doesn't lead the way. Justin Jackson did lead the way. 19 points, 9 for 16 shooting for him though. Also not great, and 1 for 6 from downtown. Really, really bad 3-point shooting game for the Dallas Mavericks in general. The only player with a good game was Ryan Broekhoff from Valparaiso. He went 4 for 6 and finished with 13 points in 17 minutes. And to the final game of last night, we've got the Golden State Warriors at home beating the Indiana Pacers 112-89. A game that after the first quarter was really not in question. A huge third quarter differential, as is normal for Warriors games. And then this game actually came, if you remember the news from yesterday, Kevin Durant's adopted brother, or one of his childhood best friends, was shot and killed yesterday. We just got the news of that, and Kevin Durant came out, played in the game, and he finished with 15 points on 6 for 9 shooting, 28 minutes, 6 assists. Good overall game. Every single Warriors player played just because of how much they were up by. DeMarcus Cousins leads the way in scoring, 19 points and 11 rebounds, 8 for 12 shooting. You got to love to see Boogie in an efficient role like that, not jacking up shots as much like he did for Sacramento or for New Orleans. And then how about some Steph Curry love here? 15 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 for 12 from downtown. So he does make 5 threes, but that accounts for all of his points. 5 for 15 overall. So 0 for 3 from 2-point range, and no free throws for Steph Curry. I guess a nice, easy game for him, though. In the loss for the Indiana Pacers, they're led in scoring by Tyreke Evans off the bench in 29 minutes. He'll give you 20 points, 5 rebounds, just 2 assists on 8 for 17 shooting. Not really a great game, but did what he had to do here. How about Thaddeus Young in the starting lineup? 18 points, 7 rebounds, 2 for 3 from downtown out of the power forward. You got to love seeing that, and playing some solid D there to some extent. I mean, some of these guys, pretty tough performances, though, here. Miles Turner, 4 points in 24 minutes on 10 shots. Bojan Bogdanovic, 9 points on 10 shots in 26 minutes. Curtis Joseph, 2 points on 7 shots in 28 minutes. Wesley Matthews, 3 points on 9 shots, 27 minutes. After the first quarter, and even the first quarter, there wasn't a whole lot of scoring. I think it was 19-19 at the end of the first. But just nothing falling for the Indiana Pacers in this game. Tough loss here. Sure sure that drops them back pretty close to fifth place in the Eastern Conference. Although I think at this point it's almost sealed up that they're going to be playing the Celtics in the first round. Just kind of got to see who has home court advantage in this. I'm pretty sure at least that's how it's going to play.